So I've moved my shooting space to this room. Normally I had it kind of out in another room, but this is where I have all my gear. I was going back and forth anyway when I would shoot out there, so I figured it'd just be smarter to move everything in here. So what I'm doing today is shooting ISO shots, which is what we call isolated. It's just a single product on a white background, isolated on the background, of course. So if you've seen any of my other videos or even the product photography lighting tips, you'll know I put a diffuser here and shine the key light of the top light down through it. And then I have a overhead shot of the camera and then the product itself. So this lighting setup is going to be very similar to that. The only difference is I'm going to be taking this light and I'm going to be bouncing it up off the ceiling here and using the ceiling as a large reflector, and that'll become my big old softbox and shine light down onto the product. These are just random medical stands, I believe, that I found on the Facebook Marketplace. And these ones here will hold my camera. They have these ratcheting handles that you can pull out and readjust, so then they'll actually hold cables if I need to loop something over the top. And then I can use these to angle and pivot cameras or lights or anything I want. Another reason I moved to this room is because the computer that I work from is right there. Before, I would take my laptop out, shoot to the laptop, put it on a hard drive, bring it back, import the pictures from the hard drive onto my work computer, and then do all the editing and stuff from there. This way I can eliminate that step, and it's just a lot more efficient. I do have to use an extender cable for just that last couple of feet from the camera to the computer, but it's still very efficient. And it matches my shirt. Here's an interesting little tip for you. You can use binder clips as a kind of a stabilizer. These ones, so if we don't use the binder clips, this thing lays down more at an angle this way. And if you put a binder clip in there, specifically on these types of tube packaging, you can raise the label up so it's horizontal, so it's flat with the camera sensor pane, and then it also helps it from rolling side to side. So if you're wanting to know how to tethered capture in Lightroom, you go up to File, go to Tethered Capture, and start a tethered capture, and this dialog box pops up. You can name your thing whatever you want to, and then you can tell it where you want to save, and I'm going to save it into this external hard drive, a LaCie drive, and then hit choose. And then it'll create a folder called hand creams or whatever you've named it in your drive, and then anything that you shoot will go into that folder. All right, the next thing on the to-do list today is shoot these hand creams on some colored backgrounds. I got some colored poster board here. I'm gonna shoot some colored backgrounds with these. One thing to note is if you get people sending you products, make sure they send you at least two. For instance, this one has a little blemish on the bottom here, and then this one does not. So then I have a second choice just in case one of them's got a blemish on it of any kind. They've sent the packaging with a sticker right over the top, so now I gotta get rid of that. Okay, looking through all the colors, I've decided I'm going to shoot this one on this blue background. I'm going to shoot this one on the yellow background. So what I'm doing with this mirror here is I'm essentially creating two light sources. So I have this light pointing up as before, and it's creating a nice soft light just on the ceiling. But then I'm going to use this mirror and reflect the hard light source back down on the product. What that will do is give me a nice spotlight around this area, and then a really hard shadow right here from the bare bulb reflecting in the mirror. So I'll explain what I'm doing here on this one. I brought in both these layers into Photoshop. So I have this original layer here, then I have this second layer with the hard shadow and the spotlight in the center. And basically all I've done is I've taken this underlying layer and I've gone up to select and then select subject, and then I've taken that subject and put it on the mask that's on this layer, because I really want the bottom layer to show. So if I turn off the mask, you have the blown out highlights of the hard shadow layer. So I'm hiding the product in the hard shadow layer and showing down through to the other layer. And then I've put on a levels layer just to bring the whites out a little bit, just to bring them up to solid white basically. And that way the product doesn't look so muddy. And then what I'm going to do is crop it to a square, because this one is going to go on Instagram. And that's the final product for this hand cream. All right, for the second one, I've just brought in all these layers off to the right here. I basically just masked them in one by one, just the pieces that I liked of each layer, and then the main layer here. And then above that, I have a original layer as well, and this one just shows only the product that's selected and masked in. And then I have a levels layer on there to bring in some contrast, bring the whites up, bring the blacks down, just so it doesn't look so hazy and muddy. And then I brought the saturation up a tiny bit. And then this layer up here is just a little bit of retouching to get rid of some of those spots and things. Alright you guys, hopefully this is informative or helpful in some way. Consider sharing this video with another photographer friend if they're interested in this type of content. If you guys do have any questions, leave them in the comments field. I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks everyone for watching.